hard to tell from my eyes. But yeah, I mean, that's what they want. And we're going to see if MIRAI can put up a better performance than they did in the previous map right here. Unfortunately, we missed the pistol again, but it shouldn't matter too much because we're going to see the full gun round coming in. MIQ, I've got their AKs alongside Zesta brought up. The two Galils on Dobu and Cabal as well. Accuracy saving for the AWP, only on the USP against the full eco.
Yeah, he's feeling pretty confident about things. Asu has got himself that upgraded Zeus. Actually, there's a lot of Zeuses available, so this could be a little bit scary for ATOX if they're not too careful. Already, Dobu's gone down, and that Zeus will be recharging as we speak. I think it's 30 seconds right now, isn't it? That you get that second usage out of the Zeus. And that Galil's been put to good use as well by Ameno, so ATOX might have just rested on their rolls a little bit too much here. And definitely don't want to be letting around like this one slip.
Not at all. Galil is a nice pickup for Ameno. He started well this time, rather than taking a while to warm up into the map. They have the Zeus in play, but obviously that's not going to be working from a range like this, so they're going to have to go in with the USPs, try and throw the USPs in and bait the Galil in to do the work. That's the idea, you'd imagine. And MIQ fighting against Janeka right now will get that one, but look at the damage done to the rest, and MIQ will take both of them to make it 3 in total. And now it would make sense for him to try and save this Galil, but he tries to at least take one more player with him, not to be. Zesta finishes that one off. And that is the 2-0 confirmed, albeit a little bit more difficult than expected.
Yeah, a little bit more, but look, end of the day, 2-0. It's good to see. But let's see what MIRAI are going to be able to do in this gun round, because that's obviously where the meat and potatoes of this game are going to end up being, what's the word, cooked, I guess, if we want to continue with that analogy. Hopefully MIRAI are going to be able to cook something pretty nice, but I don't know if the recipe book is on the table or if it's maybe been lost. Oh, accuracy. Not quite living up to his name there, missing that first shot, but good damage off the nades onto Walnut in mid.
I like this angle from Walnut. He used the edge of the smoke to his advantage. Saw some cool plays at the bottom of Con with those new smokes, just tapping through the corners of them. Unfortunately, Amino removed though by Dobu, and they'll switch the AK and the Galil over, so he's on the lesser weaponry on 4 HP. You'd expect usually the AWP to be given over, but in this instance, accuracy has no armor. It is a glass cannon, so that's why he's keeping it. And he's going to go for this duel as well. Spawn's been pushed by MIRAI, and it's proving to be quite an issue to remove him. In the end, Dobu is actually the one to get Seven Nation out of the equation, and Walner is found by MIQ. So 4v2, he's going to be forced to push through that molly as Isu and pushed into his death, sadly. It's only Janeka.
Yeah. Poor old Janeka. Unlikely to be able to get too much done here. And that was an interesting choice of swapping. Maybe thought it was an AK on the ground, but right toward the M4. Best case scenario, holding on to the M4 here, but in reality, even that doesn't feel like it's going to have huge amounts of impact in the next round. If it's going to be the only gun that they have to play with, they will have a little bit of loss bonus building up, but it's still not going to be enough to really trouble the scorers here. So I don't know that they're going to get a proper buy-through in the next.
Janeka could do some good damage here. I say that just as he gets found by accuracy, but he found one more, and accuracy only obviously had the AWP with no armor, so I thought for a second that maybe he could be fallible, but he holds an angle nicely. Now he gets his armor in play. That's what using the USP in that second round only gives you, at least gives you a chance, even if you don't get a kill, to get that AWP in the third, even if it's without armor. But yeah, they've got it sorted out. 3-0, and it's MIRAI unfortunately on another low buy, a deco this time around. All 5 Deagles across the board.
Well, Deagles can certainly do some damage, but again, I feel like I'm grasping at straws a little bit, trying to paint a picture here that is going to be favourable for MIRAI. So far, I'll be proven correct in my assumptions at the very least that it's not looking like it's going to be too close of a round. There was one brief moment of excitement, I suppose, but by and large, we're getting what we expected. And maybe even then some.
Nice shot by Seven Nation, but I'm afraid it's all we have to speak about. And now Janeka's made noise, of course, on the B site, so they know where they've locked him in. Not even going for the plant yet, they're all looking for the kill. And finally, it'll be herded back away by Zesta to get it down. himself, and actually a peek into his demise. That's a little bit bold. AK pulled out. Janika gets another one. Here we go. For accuracy, finally finishes him off. More damage than perhaps ATOX would have wanted to take, but at this point, I don't think they're too bothered because they've got more than enough in arrears.
Yeah, that was a bit closer than I thought it was going to be, but like you say, it's not too concerning for them at the moment, unless it turns into something a little bit more later on down the track, and jury's out as to whether or not that's going to end up happening. It's kind of, I guess, the onus that is on MIRAI at this point. But they do have a decent bite. Straight out into mid, though. ATOX are able to take control of that area of the map once again. Dobu doesn't look like he wants to stop. He's straight up into connector.
Wow.
And Walnut, I think he was sort of almost ready for that, but at the end of the day, that unbridled aggression is just going to be a bit too much to deal with.
It's tough for them. Dobu's already in stairs, and look what he's doing to the AWP, locking it in the corner. So difficult to get away. I still get removed. I think he's got a chance to do some work here. That removes accuracy. Looking for a second, and he will get that second because Dobu's very low HP, but in the end, he's stuck between, well, a hot place and a Cabal place, and the Cabal place takes him down.
Yeah, once again, Janika. 1 on 3 this time. He's got a flank coming in to deal with as well. It seems like...
Ooh.
Well, I might have spoken too soon. Oh, has he heard Zesta? He certainly has now. Molly into his position, forces Janika to smoke himself off. I still don't think he's got much of a chance of winning this round, but if he finds the timing through the smoke, maybe. Only thing is, he's not even really going to give it a crack. He's maybe waited a little bit too long here. He does have a defuse kit, to be fair, but Zesta's been able to cross all the way to triple, and that will be hugely unexpected.
Unfortunate for Janika. I have to give him his props and say that was a nice try. But once that Molotov was thrown down, he decided to smoke it. I think, realistically, if he runs through the molly, he dies as well. But it's probably a better opportunity to win the round. Because run through the molly at the early stage of it burning, of course, doesn't do as much damage. He then, of course, would have known where Zesta was playing from. Would have perhaps given him a chance to pre-aim him out of the round, but not to be. And ATOX will keep their clean sheet intact.
Yeah, I guess you've got to be a little bit disappointed here if you're MIRAI. They've been close in a couple of instances, even with that sort of Deagle round. Like, that was maybe closer than it ought to have been. But they haven't actually been able to convert any of the rounds, which will be the big problem in the long term. Dobu, a little bit of a tap back and forth there between him and Seven Nation. It's only Ameno to really speak to in this one, and it feels like ATOX are kind of just defaulting back to the same setup, which is like, alright, we're going to take mid control, and then we're going to see what happens, and we'll play off the basis of that. And it's been working pretty well for them so far. No reason to change it up.
Some nice shots are being hit, though, from MIRAI in this game now. These nades can be awfully painful, though. That put him from 100 to 26, I believe, there. And Zesta will remove it. Little angle there being held by NYQ, but he's being tagged down as well, and he's got the bomb, so needs to get that down. Zesta is still yet to die in this game. See how long that lasts. Maybe he'll go for the no death challenge in this one. We'll see how long that, how long he can keep that up. Let's go from Cabal on Isu as well. Seven Nation has found him. It's a very hard angle to pre-aim. And now, of course, they know where he is too. Amino's got the M4, but he's smoked off on the big flank. That's not going to be doing anything. 6-0 as expected.
Yeah, and the half is kind of starting to get away from MIRAI here a little bit. So they're going to have to find a way to kick into gear pretty early, but like, I don't know, man, based on what we've seen on that first map, it's just a question of whether or not that's even going to be possible.
Almost got one more kill at the end there, Menno, but fortunately not. It would have just been a consolation anyway. This is just the reality of the situation, unfortunately, for MIRAI. They are the significant underdogs, and ATOX are proving that in this game, in these back-to-back BO1s. So far, I think it deserves to be said, Jordan, that ATOX have won 19 rounds in a row, if I'm not mistaken.
Fair enough, yeah. I mean, that's big maths on a broadcast, isn't it? So, that's a stat. That is a stat for you. But will it be only 19? Because I've already found the opening pick for MIRAI. This time a little bit less presence in toward mid from ATOX. That
There we
one
go.
player getting taken down, and Seven Nations also been able to find accuracy. So this has to be the round that MIRAI now is able to convert. If they can't get this one, then I mean, it's probably going to be too far gone at that point.
The only thing that could be a problem is that MIQ is already out Tetris, and I'm not sure they're aware of that. Something that if they maybe slightly change up the position on the A side, if they shift into triple or next to default, MIQ could just catch them off guard, and it just throws the round into disarray for MIRAI. But they are going to go for a 3-man A play here. Palace spotted once and for all, but Isu managed to take Zesto in the meantime. There is his first death of this game. 2 versus 5 now. What's only done to Isu? Seven Nation playing around with the smoke. Finally gets one, but only the one, and now it's down to Cabal. And honestly, from what we saw from the previous map, he has a chance to do something with this.
Yeah, 1v3 for Cabal. I mean, I'm not necessarily going to count him out of it. It's a tough one to win, but do you have Janika isolated away from this engagement? So this ends up kind of being maybe even 2 1v1s if he can get this first kill. Isu was in a very bold position, but hits the shot, backs himself, which is fair enough. 1 and 6. MIRAI have their first round on the second map.
And that's great to see. Getting good picks around the map. Nice bit of mid-aggression as well, working out really nicely. The AWP showing up. That's what we want to see. A bit more competitiveness into this game. Cabal did his best, but in the end, the AWP and the time on the clock weren't really on his favour either. There's another one.
ATOX maybe getting a little bit too big for their boots, but then again, perhaps so is Walnut. Oh, yeah. Jumping all over the place in mid. But he's able to get out alive, and the nade stack should catch Dobu. Good shot through there. Good bowling indeed. And again, numbers advantage for MIRAI for a brief moment until ATOX bring it right back.
Smoking windows, accuracy will fall away as well. Not the bomb, still in spawn, so just assuming that no one's pushed forward to spot that because of the position of MIQ. And they'd be absolutely right. And the rotation round to CT is basically Amino's only answer. He's actually going to go to B. Maybe they're considering a save here instead. They know A's been completely taken. He's checking the B site, maybe considering that they're still going there, but now they realise it. So they've got a little bit of money left over from, of course, winning that round with 3 players alive. But you'd have to say it's going to still be a tough one. This would be a good pre-aim in from Amino, and there we go. That's lovely on MIQ. And they do have some good utility for this retake.
Yeah, but decent post-line positions as well for ATOX, so it'll be tough to dig out unless those Molotovs land. Janika rather, has not tossed it in yet. Will force out accuracy, but Zesta is there ready and waiting, and time's certainly going to be a factor. This will have to be defused in the smoke. Amino has lost the round now. So it was a 1-round wonder for MIRAI, apparently, as ATOX are able to strike right back.
Worth an attempt, but
yeah,
sadly, it was just that attempt. Warner is struggling a little bit in this game as well, only 1 and 8. I mentioned he's the youngster of the team, 18 years old. His 1 kill was at HE, top mid, of course. He seems to be playing very aggressively in that mid area. This is the sort of game that obviously you mentioned it earlier, that you hope MIRAI will watch back later and see what mistakes they've made and try and learn from them, of course. We know that they're a team that is the big underdog, learned from one of the bigger boys in ECL Asia. It's going to be a bit of a pop toward B, actually, for ATOX. They're really turning up the pace in this round, and it's working out well for MIRAI in this instance. 2v2 recovered before Dobu hits another 1D. He's looking for a third, perhaps. Oh my goodness, the pre-fire. What's going on? Amino's caught in the open. And now he's 7 HP, and they know where both these 2 players are now as well.
He's not shying away from these fights, is he, Dobu? He really thinks he's going to be able to win them. If he had 1 more bullet, he would have gotten Amino, but ran out.
Is the dream possible here to grab this B-site rush? It was really Dobu who did it all, but unfortunately Isu, who is a high HP player, has been taken down, and then Dobu gets his last on Amino, who he did so much damage to earlier, of course. And it is 8-1. Another buy can come in, but it'll be a little bit messy as well.
Yeah, it's just definitely going the same way as the first map was. In fact, it's I don't know about you, but it's kind of feeling like even more dominant actually for ATOX than the first map. At least on map 1, you know, MIRAI got off with the pistol round, and there's a couple of sort of closer rounds in that one, but yeah, this has really felt like it's almost been entirely ATOX, obviously barring that one round. Not really much in this one to write home about for MIRAI either, right? They've got 3 rifles, barely any util. Like, what do you even do with this round? You kind of just have to deathball, I guess, and that's why they've set themselves up all around mid, but even that's not working out.
Oh, MIQ will spot Isu in the corner as well. With accuracy close, I thought maybe he'd be baited in that scenario, but actually Isu reacts nicely. He probably had the information anyway, especially with 7 Nation in the position he was in. But Janika will take Dobu as well. Nice trade from Zesta, so it will be recovered once again. They always just have that extra insurance policy, the extra man over to make these rounds as comfortable as possible. And Zesta hits another tasty one. He is zesty, and it's 9-1.
9-1. Dominating display from ATOX tonight. Money's a problem again for MIRAI, though. I guess at this point you're kind of just like, well, we've got to win a round somewhere, so we've got to just put everything in we can. And they will force. ASU, 7 Nation have got an M4 apiece, and Walner, Janika still yet to invest, but it's not too exciting, unfortunately, for MIRAI at this point. Feels like they're kind of almost running their head against a brick wall. There's accuracy to open things up, and just look at this from accuracy. Like, this is unreasonable.
That's one way to put it. Glass cannon up in this round, just running riot. He'll finally be put down by Walner. Borderline deservedly so, for his misgivings. Walner gets a free AWP from that, so maybe something he can do with that instead.
Well, hopefully, because MIRAI kind of needs something going for them. And they're not really getting it. ATOX are going to try to go toward the A bomb site, so Walnut could definitely come into play. Amino's in a good spot as well with that deagle, though might be spotted out, or perhaps not. He was saved by Walnut killing MIQ, who was on Tetris. He got himself one onto Cabal, and now a potentially winnable round for MIRAI, but with that kill going the way of ATOX, you might start to doubt whether or not that is going to end up being possible. And it will not.
Instant dink hit there by Janeka, but Nobu finishes it off with the spray. Zesta's got a 7 KD with those 2 extra kills. There was a chance for a second there, and you're absolutely right with MIQ going down to that Walnut AWP shot. Just let Amino be a little bit more surprising for a split seconds, few more seconds, and he managed to get that 1 dig. I say 1 dig, it took him about 4 shots, but it was a headshot, so I'll give him that.
Yep.
But yeah, it was
unfortunately...
that counts in all of our books, I think. But yeah, unfortunately couldn't do much more with that. And then Dobu will try and compound it in the following round. A quick fire entry, gets taken down immediately, but that bakes in the A players. Accuracy and Zesta get 1 apiece. Amino's fighting back well once again. We've had a couple of 2v2s and some close rounds in this one, but unfortunately, MIRAI have only been rewarded with the 1 in total, and Janeka is pretty stuck here. Cabal should be about to see him, and Molotof's going to give him no room to escape, and nor will Cabal give him any room to escape. It's 11-1, it's 1 better this time around for ATOX, and we'll see you after a quick break.
Well, not a whole lot has changed from map 1 to 2. In fact, it feels like it's actually gotten even better for ATOX as they now find themselves at an 11-1 scoreline at the end of the half. So, suffice to say, a pistol round right here for ATOX would pretty much wrap things up.
Yep, looks looking that way. It is what we expected going into this game. Maybe we didn't expect it to be so brutally one-sided, but either way, it's something for MIRAI to look at in the future, perhaps, and work on. I still gets a nice start, though. Look how far Minnow is out toward A already. ATOX aren't showing anything on A, and there you go. That's actually going to catch Cabal off guard. He had no clue that the angle being played by MIQ on triple could have exposed his teammates to those positions. Accuracy. Have to do some work to recover the situation. He gets one himself. Zesta, though, he gets two, and that puts Janeko into a 1v2 that's very winnable, though. He's just standing in the smoke right now, just waiting for it. And now MIQ, they're body blocking in the smoke. Does he realise that? And no!
Oh,
he wasn't just playing in the smoke. It's because he disconnected. That is an absolute heartbreaker, considering that was actually very winnable for him.
Oh, that's so painful to watch. It's like, you know, you just... You know, they're not allowed to have nice things. That's the real takeaway here, is that they just are not allowed to have anything good happen to them tonight.
Feels bad, man.
Guess we'll have to wait a little bit here for him to get back, but...
Never rains, but it pours, as they say.
You know what the sad thing is like, it could have just happened in 5 minutes and it wouldn't have mattered.
I know, right?
Because this game would be over.
That he won't be going to bed tonight thinking, oh, what could have been? It could have been the instigator to bring us back into the game.
No, exactly. It's just not it.
Sag.
Well,
guess we're going to wait for him to come back, hopefully. Hopefully it's not a more permanent looking thing.
I mean, what's an Asia CS night without a bit of a tech delay?
Yeah,
you know,
not wrong. Been there.
Been doing Asia CS for quite a few years now, and it's not something that is super surprising to see. I mean, especially when we're talking about, like, actually, you know, often it's the Mongolian teams that have issues because Mongolia's internet infrastructure is not fantastic. If you ever see the Mongols or even ATOX generally, like I think actually even ATOX and the Huns, I'm pretty sure, when they were all qualifying or trying to qualify for the Asia RMR, none of them were playing in Mongolia. One of them was in China somewhere. I think it was the Huns that were in China. Mongols, I know, generally tend to play in it's either Vietnam or Thailand, one of those countries. And ATOX was somewhere as well. Like none of them play actually in Mongolia just because, well, I suppose routing is partly an issue, but I think the general internet infrastructure there as well is not ideal. I recall a lot of the time when we had the sort of the Mongolian teams playing in the gaming houses and such, they had multiple internet lines, obviously, because they just were not reliable enough to rely on one of them at a time.
Yeah, it's everyone's in different situations in life. You have to count your blessings for where, for example, I guess me and you are with a pretty consistent, reliable situation.
Yeah, my internet's great. I can't complain about it at all.
Exactly,
really.
Yeah. So I would say same here. I think I've only ever had one disconnection during a cast over 4 and a bit years, so not bad. We'll take that.
Usually if I have a DC, it's probably my own fault because 9 times out of 10 I get an email that's like scheduled maintenance for da-da-da-da day, and I always put it in my calendar now because it's happened a couple times where I've like been in the middle of a game or something, and then I'll just drop and I'll go, oh, right, there was maintenance tonight, and it's like normally at like 1 AM or something, so it's always pretty reliable. Once they give you the date or the time, it does go down. It's like as soon as it hits 1 AM, it's like, boom, off you go.
Yeah, I mean that is a common thing I mentioned to you, of course, earlier as well before the game got underway with my my other caster that I occasionally do quite a lot of work with, Mr. Matthew Hayes. He's from South Africa, and obviously has there's lots of other things going on in South Africa that could contribute to that, like load shedding, for example, and gets contacted about specific times it's going to go down. He has to switch to a generator during a cast, basically. It's like, obviously it doesn't disconnect him, but it's a backup that automatically switches on, and sometimes that can be a bit messy. Everywhere's got their own pitfalls, but that's what we have with online Counter-Strike. What can you do, really?
Yeah,
these things happen.
All right. Well, don't really have much of an update for you guys, unfortunately, because it seems like things are taking a little while to get rolling. And honestly, I've got to say, this is one of the worst things that can happen when you're a Counter-Strike caster, is you're one round away from the game being over, and then it's like, well, game's not going to end now. And we all know that he's probably going to come back in 5 or 10 minutes, and then we're going to play like 30 seconds of Counter-Strike, and the day's going to be over. Yeah. So it's just an unfortunate situation, really. I mean, it's obviously, you know, not ideal for us, but certainly not ideal for the players as well. No, we're just complaining about first world problems there, and I think that's what can you really do? Realistically, is that it's an unfortunate situation, as you say, for everyone involved. I mean, probably the worst feeling for the player as well. One, he had a chance in a 1v2 as well, because the first player was really low HP. He was playing in the smoke, which I thought was the right play to make. That's why I didn't think he disconnected. And then MIQ sort of slowly shifted up to him and body blocked with him, and then he just disappeared in front of his very eyes, which was very sad. And then secondly, as you say, when he comes back, it's 12-1 already. Like, are we just going to be, like, if it was them, are they just going to say, are we deciding just to play one round 5v4 and get it done with, because we know what's going to happen anyway? But I think for, you know, competitive integrity reasons, it's important that we wait for him to come back to the server, and important for the players to make that decision to play fully 5v5. So I think we're going to have a little bit of a break when we get this sorted, if I'm not mistaken. And we'll be back in a minute or so, guys, I hope. All right, well, here we are back again, and we'll get to find out whether or not I'm going to be proven correct in my assumptions that this might not be lasting too long. Either way, we've got all 5 players back in for MIRAI. Let's see whether or not they're going to get more than just the one round here.
Let's see if it is what we suspected. I have a feeling it might be. Accuracy has started it well. Warner will be removed. And it forces MIRAI to go for a walk-out ramp. They've got 3 deals and a scout to try and make some magic happen here, and MIQ probably won't be allowing it. There goes Amino. There goes Janika. It's all down to Isu and Seven Nation. They're going to need to double dig their way out of this problem. It was a nice opening from Isu to remove Zesta. I believe that's Seven Nation. I'll get back to that in a second, because Seven Nation's fighting for his life. Does well to get 1, but not 2. And Cabal will push for it. So there we go. That is what we suspected. And ATOX get a 30